Welcome back, my friends. My name is James LaValley, and this is page 2 of your next chapter. And for those daring souls who returned after last week's episode, thank you. Honestly, it means more than you would know. But before we get into tonight's message, I want to start with a little honesty. After reviewing page 1, I realized a few things. First, I tried to pack way too much into that first episode. I got a little excited, I was a little nervous, I've never done this before, so I wanted to pack everything into one episode, but that's not how this journey is supposed to work. So we're going to pace ourselves from here on out, slow it down, take one step at a time. So thank you for giving me the grace to learn as I go. In our first podcast, or page 1, we touched on 10 different topics, and well, I'd like to do a recap of last week's podcast before we get started. So, topic 1, we started out with why this message matters today. So, last week I turned 65 and I realized that I want to better my life, not just coast. I want to live out each and every day and not hold anything back. Topic 2, I spoke of Viktor Frankl's insight, where he said that we shouldn't ask, what is the meaning of life? We need to determine the meaning of our own life. We need to act on how we want to end our lives. And that is our meaning of life. Topic 3 was your own meaning of life right now. We each have our own meaning of life, and as we grow and mature, it will change. What is your meaning of life right now? Is it where you want to be, or is it where life has dropped you off? You need to make the decision to live your own meaning of life. Topic 4, your gifts, your craft, your calling. We each have gifts and talents, skills, a craft or a calling. You excuse me, you need to use these to grow into a better you. Topic 5, the myth of one meaning of life for everyone. Some say we should all follow the same meaning of life or have the same goals in life. You need to determine your own goals that you want to achieve and work to create the you that you want to become. Topic 6, how the meaning changes over lifetime. As we grow and mature, our meaning of life will change and grow with us. At 5, we may want to just learn how to ride a bike. Later, we want to do well in school, or maybe we want to impress that certain someone in school. Later, we want to achieve that degree or get that promotion at work. And then, of course, we all want to raise well-balanced children. Um, you get the picture. With each goal that we hit, we need to set bigger and higher goals and standards. Never stop growing. Never stop raising your bar. Topic 7. We talked about growth, trials, and maturity. Every trial we go through brings pressure or resistance. Every great sports team knows that they will never grow without great opponents putting the pressure on them. For us to grow, we have to have a reason to grow. And what that pressure is, or excuse me, that's what pressure is. Um, when life forces you to adjust, topic 8, sometimes life throws curveballs at you. In my case, my health challenges prevented me from moving forward for a season. And I stayed in that season maybe a little too long, and I realized that that's not where I want to stay. So you always need to keep your eyes focused on your goals and dreams. Work to get through those obstacles or find your way around them. Topic 9 was legacy, teaching, and giving. What will people remember you for? You need to come up with that goal, a goal that will leave a legacy, maybe by teaching or coaching, maybe giving to leave something that you'll be remembered for. And finally, topic 10, we talked about what your next chapter is really about. And this is the main reason I created this podcast. And we will be discussing it each week. If you missed episode 1, Don't worry, you can always go back and check it out. I'll leave the link down below in the description box. Now, each of these episodes, or pages as I call them, stand on their own, but they are all part of one big story, my story and your story, the story of anyone who's ready to step into their next chapter. So even if you're joining me for the first time this morning, welcome. You're in the right place. So this morning, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind ever since last week, and something I read about Abraham Lincoln. He once said, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." Now, that line hits differently when you're standing on the edge of a new chapter, because most of us spend years waiting for clarity, waiting for a sign, waiting for that perfect moment. But clarity doesn't come first, choices do. I had to learn that the hard way. I kept waiting for the fog to lift before I moved. But the truth is, the fog only lifts because you move it. And maybe you've felt that way too. Maybe you've been standing in the same spot for a long time, waiting for something to change, waiting for the fear to go away, waiting for someone to tell you that it's okay to start, or waiting for time to be perfect. But here's the thing, the time will never be perfect. No one is coming to give you permission. No one is coming to hand you that perfect moment. No one is coming to choose your future for you. That's your job and your responsibility. And honestly, that's your freedom. So there was a season in my life where I kept saying that I would build my business after, let's say, I got out of the Navy, or we were going to move when the finances permitted us to. But when I did get out of the Navy, I came up with a new reason that I couldn't start. Um, Life never seemed to be right, and I never felt ready. I was waiting for a moment that didn't exist, and that moment never will exist. Finally, one day I realized something, maybe simple, but very powerful. If I don't choose my future, someone else will choose it for me, or circumstances will choose it for me, or fear will choose it. Other people's expectations will choose it. And I'll just be along for the ride. So that was the day that I decided to stop waiting. Not because I had clarity, I didn't. Not because I had confidence, because I definitely didn't. But because I finally understood that movement creates clarity, not the other way around. So this morning, I want to give you that same gentle nudge, not a shove or a push, just a nudge. What would it look like for you to take one small step toward the life that has been tugging on your sleeve? Not the whole journey, not the whole plan, just one step. Recently, I filed my LLC for my new business, and that seemed like a big step for me. It seemed like a big deal, but I did it. I studied and decided what business style made most sense for me. I completed the form and went downtown and filed the application. Now I have a business, so I have to keep walking it out. That was my first big step. What's yours? Maybe it's writing something down, or maybe it's making a phone call, or cleaning out that corner of your life that's been cluttered for a little bit too long. Maybe it's admitting to yourself that you really want, or what you really want. Whatever it is, you need to take that step. Because once you do, the next step will show up, and then the next one, and then the next. So you don't have to build your whole future today or this week. You just have to move. So as we finish up this morning, here's one simple assignment. Choose to do something, anything, one small thing that moves you forward, and do it this week before our next podcast. Maybe not perfectly or not dramatically. Just intentionally. Because if I can do it, so can you. And one last thing before we wrap up this morning, I want to leave you with a simple invitation. Think about that one small first thing that you want to start with. Again, not the whole mountain, not the whole journey, just that first step, the one that's right in front of you. When you know what that is, drop it in a comment below and how you accomplished it. I read every comment and I reply to each one. Your words matter here. Your story matters here. And who knows, your first small step might be the spark to someone else who needs to take their first step. All right, my friends, until next Saturday, let's just keep walking this out together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourself. I'll see you next week for page 3 of your next chapter.